Hello YouTube, this is Cat from Set Free and Pass, and today I'm going to go through my Marincess deck. So it's been a while since I've made a deck profile due to moving house and so on. And in that time we've actually gone over 100 subscribers, so I want to say from me and Bit, thank you very much to everyone who subscribed, and anyone else that hasn't, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Drop us a comment, let us know in terms of if you enjoy the content, and if there's anything you want to see from me and Bit moving forward. We're focusing more on rogue decks rather than top tier, but there will be a few coming up as we start to play a little bit more. But yeah, today I'll be going through my Marincess deck. So like usual, I'll go through in stages. So I'll go through the monsters, hand traps, spells, and the traps. And what I'll try and do then also as well as go through the extra deck as you would expect, but also see if I can go through a couple of combos so you get an idea of how the deck works. So let's begin. So let's go into the monsters. So the first monster is Marincess Platypus, which I believe I'm saying incorrectly, but I can't pronounce it correctly. But all the Marincess cards will have the ability, generally other than one, that allows you in the graveyard specifically. But this particular card, when it's normal special summon, allows you to special summon an additional Marincess card from your hand into defense position, which gives you the ability to link, climb, or further your link summons. But while this is in your graveyard, except the turn it's sent there, basically you can banish this card and then get a Marincess spell or trap back from your graveyard to your hand, which allows you to recycle your Marincess dials, your waves, and your battle oceans if that's what you need to do. Then we've got Blue Tang. So Blue Tang is basically a Foolish Barrel when it's on summon. So essentially you'll be able to send one Marincess monster from your deck to the graveyard when it's special or normal summoned. But then when this card is used as a material for a link summon of a water monster, you can escalate the top 3 cards of your deck, and then basically for each you can take one Marincess card, add it to your hand, and then send the rest back into the shuffle into the deck, which is basically a part of duality. Then we've got Seahorse. So Seahorse has the ability that basically, if this is in your graveyard at the start from the previous turn, you pretty much have full combo. But what this card does is, if it's in your hand, you can special summon it to a zone that a link monster, Marincess link monster points to, and obviously you can special summon it with your hand. But if then, for example, it's been in there for not in the same turn, it's at the graveyard, so you can banish this card and you can special summon one water monster from your hand to a Marincess link monster points to. So again, allows you to link climb and add additional effects. We then have one of the newer Marincess cards, which is Spring Girl. Spring Girl has the effect that basically if you banish a Marincess card from your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. But if it's also then sent to the graveyard as part of a link summon of a water monster, you can basically send cards on the top of your deck equal to the link the Marincess cards you have on the field, Marincess monsters you have on the field, yes. And for every card that's sent, you inflict 200 points of damage. So it just gives you an opportunity to get monsters and use spells and traps into the grave. And then you got Sleeping Maiden. So Sleeping Maiden's a single in this deck because of the fact it's a level 5. But what it does basically is you can type one Marincess card that you control and special summon this. And what it does then basically gives the ability to make it immune to your opponent's card effects while this card is on the field. But you can then banish this card from your graveyard and target one Marincess link monster you control, equip it with one Marincess link monster from your graveyard, which allows you to activate their effects. So it allows you to use those. And then Mandarin. Again, has a 1 because of the fact with the effect, but if you control 2 or more Marincess monsters while this card is in your hand or your graveyard, you can target one link monster you control, special summon this card to the zone that monster points to, banish it when it leaves the field. So again, gives you the ability to link climb and give some of the effects. So those are the Marincess monster cards. I'm going to go on to the hand traps. So those are the hand traps. So I run 3 Ash Blossom. So you'll find that basically in most decks at this moment in time will run 3 of this particular card. There's not really much to say other than the fact it's very versatile. It's not game breaking, but it stops a lot of decks basically and their search effects. Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler at 2 because of the fact that 1, it's a great target for Crosshair Designator, which is in my deck in this particular instance, but also stops your opponent's monsters as well. So I mean, from the perspective of being able to just disrupt your opponent, this can be great, especially in decks at the moment which tend to run quite a lot of monster effects which require them on field. DD Crow because of the fact that this could be changed pretty much for quite a few other cards if need be, but because of the fact this is when I built this, I was playing against quite a lot of Despia, and I know that Splight and so on is out at the moment, which doesn't really get hurt by DD Crow as far as I'm aware, but I might be wrong. But it's a great card to have and gets rid of cards in graveyards. It's also great in terms of when you are playing a Splight deck which uses Live Twins, because of the fact it targets Yugioh or Lila, which is in the graveyard, and gets rid of those quite quickly if they need to use that. And then 1 Nibiru. Now potentially you could get rid of these 2 and add in 3 of these, but again, because of the fact that your deck can get hugely hit by a Nibiru, it's great for Crosshair Designator, but also being a very good hand trap in this format. So again, this is one potentially I could potentially change for 3 of these. And then also then 3 Imperm, because of the fact Imperm's Imperm, like Effect Veiler, very versatile card. You can use this basically to not only disrupt your opponent but also disrupt their columns, and great during first turn or during any further turns anyway if you can set it. So yeah, that's the hand traps. So on to the spells and traps. So we'll start with the standard ones first. So I run 1 Monster Reborn. So Monster Reborn, what it says say in terms of just special summoning monsters from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard is great for any deck, especially in this one where some of your link players will be able to benefit from that and getting those into the grave and then bringing them back out. Then we've also got Call by the Grave, because this deck does get hampered by hand traps. So Call by the Grave at 1, as it's 1, is very important. Foolish Burial, because of the fact you can get some of your Marincess cards into the graveyard pretty quickly, and as I said before, most of them have the ability in the graveyard, which can be played at any time, where other ones can be played the following turn, so you do this for a future play basically. Then I run 3 Crosshair Designator. So Crosshair Designator is great because of the fact that everyone's using hand traps, and because of the fact cards like Nibiru, Ash and so on, it can actually harm you quite badly, so it's just great to have this in the deck to be able to get around those kind of issues. I find that basically it's a very, very versatile card. I've also had to play Crosshair Designator against a Crosshair Designator, so that also helps as well. Then 3 Cyanide Mining, because although the Marincess cards are all water, they are Cyberse, so this allows you to discard a card and search for level 4 or lower Cyberse monster, which basically pretty much gets everyone but one of your monsters, which obviously is your Sleepy Maiden, which is level 5. Everything else can be searched out. This card allows you to do that pretty readily. And then we have Marincess Dive. So Marincess Dive basically has 2 effects, which basically for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters apart from water monsters, which is in the problem of this deck, because even in the extra deck there are no special summon monsters which aren't water. You can target 1 non-link Marincess monster in your graveyard and special summon it, and if Battle Ocean and special summon 1 Marincess monster from your deck basically, so it allows you to have a Monster Reborn or bring a monster from your graveyard out if you've got Battle Ocean out. Speaking of which, we run 1 Battle Ocean. I know some deck profiles are running multiples of this, but because you've got the ability to not only search it out from your deck, but also to get it back from your graveyard, thanks to some of the new cards which should come out. But Battle Ocean, if I go through, is all Marincess monsters will gain 200 attack. Also, each one gains 600 for each Marincess card equipped to it. So the link monsters, which can allow you to get multiples equipped to it, get an additional 600. And which this card also helps on that side, which we'll get to in a moment. But monsters you control in the extra monster zone that will link summoned using Marincess Crystal Heart as material are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. When this links a summon monster, a Marincess monster, to an extra monster zone, you can equip it with 3 Marincess link monsters with different names from your graveyard to links summon monster. There's a lot of text in that. But essentially, basically, what it allows you to do is give additional material to equipped material, essentially, to one of your link monsters. Although, obviously, you don't get material, but it gives you the ability, basically, to equip to it, which gives them additional effects. Plus, it gives them additional attack points as well. So those are the spells of the deck. So now onto the traps, so which there is only one trap, but there's two of them, which is Marincess Wave. So as I said before, the imperms are classed as hand traps, but you do technically have 5 traps in here. But what Marincess Wave does is, if you control Marincess Link monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate that face-up monster's effects until the end of the next turn. Then if you control a Link 2 or higher Marincess monster, all face-up monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of the turn. If you control the Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, you can activate its card from your hand. So essentially, if you've got a Link 3 Marincess card, this becomes a hand trap, which is very easy in this deck because if we've gone through the monsters, basically a lot of special summonal, recursion and so on, which allows you to link climb very quickly. So usually this will be used as a hand trap, and with the ability to basically target opponent monsters and essentially be an effect veiler and make your monsters immune are fantastic. So that's the main deck. I'm going to go into the extra deck now. So now go on to the extra deck. So we'll start off with 2 Blue Slugs. So Blue Slug basically has the ability, when this is then link summoned, you could tag one Marincess monster in your graveyard and add back to your hand. So things like your Blue Slug or your Seahorse in particular, allows you to bring that back to your hand. So with Seahorse in particular, it allows you to bring it back and use it to special summon to the zone it points to. So that's great for that extension if it's not the usability. Then Marincess Sea Angel basically allows you to get a Marincess spell from your deck, which then can allow you to get your Battle Ocean or your Marincess Dive, depending on the situation. Most of the time you're going to get your Battle Ocean, but there is situations where that might not be required. Then we've got 2 copies of Coral Anemone. So Coral Anemone basically has the ability to special summon a monster with 1500 or attack or less from your graveyard and special summon it. We have to be water, which isn't a problem in this deck because everything's generally water. Then basically when this then card leaves the field, you can tag one Marincess card in your graveyard and add it to your hand, which allows you to further extend that again. I also use Splash Mage in this deck because of the fact that I find that there might be situations where I need to link climb, and this allows you to special summon to do that and get more link monsters in one of the combo videos I'm going to do later on. I'll show you one of the reasons why this is useful. But essentially it can allow you to special summon a Cyburst monster, which all Marincess monsters are, and then you negate its effects, but then you obviously get that effect to special summon, which allows you then to link climb with that. There is then Marbled Rock. So Marbled Rock basically is if you can tag one Marincess card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. And then when your opponent declares an attack, you can send one Marincess monster from your hand to the graveyard, and basically you can't destroy a battle and takes no battle damage, but with 2500 attack it's just great for a beat stick as well. We also have Crystal Heart. Crystal Heart works great because of the fact it works really well with your Battle Ocean, because it gives you the ability to basically have your monsters that use this as link material not to be affected by basic monster effects. Then there's Bubble Reef. Bubble Reef has the effect that basically when it's then brought out, you can banish one water monster from your graveyard and draw one card, which can be done during each standby phase, meaning that you can draw during your opponent and your own turn, which hopefully draws you into a disruption during their turn. But each time a monster is banished face up, this monster gains 600 attacks, it goes up to 3600 until the end of that turn. You can send one more monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon one of your banished Marincess monsters as well. So it gives you that ability to reborn monsters. One of the new link monsters is Coral Triangle, or new at the what the other ones are. What this allows you to do is you can send one mortar monster from your hand to your graveyard to add one Marincess trap, so it gives you the ability to get your wave basically, and then from that basically you can then obviously get your ability to disrupt because of the fact the effects of it allows you to kick in basically to use it from your hand. And what you can do then is you can banish a card from your graveyard. And basically you can then special summon a combined link rating of exactly 3 to your side of the field, and you can only use the effect of each of these there. And then the other one is Argonaut. So Argonaut has the effect that basically other monsters can't be targeted as long as it's in your extra monster zone, You can target one water monster you control and one card your opponent controls and return to the hand. This gives you that ability to stop your opponent doing stuff to you. And during your opponent's turn, when a spell or trap is activated, you can then you can special summon one card that's equipped to this. Because Battle Ocean, generally when you bring this out, will usually have 2 or 3. You can then special summon one of those monsters and basically at that point negate the effects, which then usually you're hoping you're going to do with something like a enemy or something like that, which has an effect when they're summoned to the field, special summon that is, or whatever it will be, and just gives you those added effects. I also use Kraken because of the fact it's nice, easy removal, because of the fact that with this you can target basically one of your opponent's cards and basically destroy it, but they take half the attack as damage. And then I use Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome. Just generally Bahamut Shark to bring out Totally Awesome, and obviously that's an Omni the game. So that's the extra deck, and then we'll go on to one of the combos. So what we'll do is in combo number 1, we'll start off with 5 cards in hand, but the one card in particular is Blue Tank. I'm going to show you how basically it's a 1 card starter. So Blue Tank is then summoned basically. So then what was happened then is now I'm going to send 1 recess card from my monster from my deck, which is going to be Seahorse. I'm going to then link off Blue Tank into Blue Slug, which will be Chain Link 1, Blue Slug Chain Link 2. So basically just show that in terms of I don't necessarily need to excavate the top 3, which will all be completely useless, so we'll just show that obviously that's the case, but that could be in a Marincess card to add. What we'll do then is with Blue Slug's effect, add Seahorse back to hand. We'll automatically summon Seahorse to the field and then link off into Sea Angel. So Sea Angel's effect will allow you to get a spell from your deck to your hand, which we're going to add Battle Ocean. And what we'll do there is we'll link off these 2 into Splash Mage. The reason why we've gone for Splash Mage is because of the fact we need to get more link material basically for the play we're going for. And basically what will happen now is we'll then be able to special summon a monster, a water monster. So what we'll do is we'll just go Blue Seahorse again. And then what we'll do then is we'll link off the 2 of these into an enemy. Then basically with an enemy's effect is basically when you special summon this, you can special summon a water monster with 1500 or less attack, which is a Splash Mage. So we'll bring out Splash Mage. At this point now we'll then play Battle Ocean and then link off the 2 of these, which then will go into Argonaut. Now basically with this then basically as we know with Argonaut's effect, it will allow you basically when depending on how many cards it has equipped you, then have the ability to basically negate. But also then you can target cards basically to remove there. But what we'll do is we'll go Chain Link 1, which will be Battle Ocean and then an Animal, I can't say the words, but you know what I mean. So basically what will happen now is essentially with this card, if this card is against the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 recess card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So what we'll do is we'll add Blue Tank just for follow-up on the following turn. And then with this we'll then add 1, 2, 3. So this is now equipped to Argonaut, and as we know in terms from this perspective, it has the ability to not only negate by special summoning one of these, which if you bring out an enemy, which basically will allow you to get the ability to do that's effect in that turn. This has also got around about 4300 attack, I believe. Yes, it is, because of the fact it gets 2000 additional attack for the fact there's 3 monsters equipped, but also 200. And it also has the ability to negate, and then you have the ability to special summon these. And we also have follow-up the following turn. So that's just a general combo number 1 with those particular cards, just for this perspective. Right, so this is going to be a 2-card combo with Paliclus and Blue Tank. So what we'll do is we'll summon Paliclus, which will allow us to special summon Blue Tank. Blue Tank's effect will then take effect, which allows us to send 1 Marincess card from our deck to the grave, which is going to be Seahorse. What we'll do then is we'll link off Blue Tank into Sea Angel. So Sea Angel Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So show the top 3 cards of the deck, which will be, these could be Marincess cards and you get one of those, but we'll just say for the sake of this, there is none. So add this to the bottom, or let's chop it. And then basically what we'll do then is Sea Angel's effect, which will allow us to get dive. We'll activate dive straight away to get him back a monster. And what we'll do then is then we will then overlay the 2 of these into Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark's effect to get rid of one of those. We can go Totally Awesome, so now we have an Omnigate on the field. Then we'll then link off Sea Angel and Bahamut Shark into Anime, which will then allow us to special summon the monster, which does not matter which, but we'll just say for the sake of it, Seahorse, which will then automatically link off into Blue Slug. And when Blue Slug is summoned, we can then bring back, so we'll bring back Seahorse to our hand. Then we'll link off the 2 monsters here into Coral Triangle, and on Anime's effect, which will add 1 monster back, so we'll add Blue Tank back to our hand, which gives us that. Then with Coral Triangle's effect, basically allows us to discard a card basically from our hand to the graveyard and have 1 trap from our deck, so we'll get rid of that to add this back. And because we haven't used Seahorse's effect, we'll then be able to special summon Seahorse, which allows us then to link off these 2. Which goes into Bubble Reef. Now Bubble Reef has the effect then to allow us to draw a card during our opponent's turn. We basically also have the effect basically of Marincess Wave in hand. We also have the effects of Totally Awesome, basically. So we can set this, and what we can imagine is that we've got that set. We've got these 3 here, so these could be hand traps. We might be able to draw a hand trap during our opponent's standby phase, which has interruption, which obviously gives us the effect here. Obviously, there's other ways you can go into here, but that's just the general basic combo for 2 cards from this, which gives us quite a good field. So that was the deck profile and also a couple of combos for the deck. So I've been running the Marincess deck just on off now for the last month or so. And I found it really a good deck, and I would be quite happy to take this to any kind of tournaments because I feel it has a good chance in terms of as a rogue competitor. Also, it's relatively cheap compared to most of the decks currently on the market, seeing as most of these cards were just released in common or less in the recent set. So I mean, from the perspective of picking up the deck, I would recommend if you're looking to get hold of it. The only card in here particularly of any real expense is going to be Totally Awesome. If you can get hold of one of those, and hopefully then the rest of the deck should be reasonably cheap to get hold of. But hopefully you've enjoyed the content. So if you did like the video, drop us a comment and subscribe to the channel. As I said, we've just recently reached triple figures in terms of subscribers, and we want to thank everyone for sticking with us over the last year or so and helping us grow. As we start continuing on, we're hoping to do more of these deck profile stroke combo videos, but always if anything, drop us a comment, drop us a message, and if you are interested in terms of talking to us, we're obviously at some point hoping to have a Discord server at some point set up, and hopefully get you guys on there as well. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, like I say, just drop us a comment, let us know, and if there's anything you'd like us to improve or so on, just let us know as well. We're learning along the way. But yeah, this was Cat from Set Free and Pass. Hope you have a good day, and catch you next time. See you later. Bye.